Hello and welcome to episode 445 of the Flight Sim Historian. For this episode we are going to be taking a quick look at the Fiat G.91Y. The G.91Y is an Italian ground attack and recon aircraft based on the Fiat G.91. It was first flown on the 27th of December of 1966. 67 were built and they were only operated by the Italian Air Force. The G.91Y is powered by a pair of General Electric J.85 afterburning turbojet engines with power outputs of 4,080 pounds of thrust each. It can reach a maximum speed of 690 miles per hour or 600 knots, a range of up to 2,100 miles, and a service ceiling of 41,000 feet. For the purpose of the video today, we are in P3Dv4. We are flying the freeware G.91Y from Massimo Altieri. Oh, I forgot, the aircraft is armed with a pair of 30mm cannons and can carry up to 4,000 pounds of bombs and rockets. Now, for some reason in P3D, this aircraft does not have a sound file, so this episode is going to be one of them quiet ones. So, without further ado, let's get in the cockpit, take off the parking brake, close the canopy, and start on flying. And we are airborne. Gears coming up. We're already at 550 knots. .500 knots and slowing down. We're at over 10,000 feet. And turning around to go back towards Edwards Air Force Base. Air brakes are mounted on the underside of the aircraft. Does not appear that the arrestor hook is actually modeled. Like it's there, but it's not animated. .250 knots. I'm going to drop the flaps now. We're at 210 knots. I must say this is still a nice looking airplane for freeware. 170 knots. .160 knots. 130 knots, speeding it up just a little to 140, maybe 150 knots, just to keep the airplane from stalling on the approach. We're at 150 knots. Radar altitude of right around 1,500 feet. Keeping it at 150 knots. Radar altitude 1,000 feet. $160 knots. Let's slow it down a little bit. Radar altitude is 240 feet. Speed is 130 knots. Come on. 120 knots, and we're down. I don't know why you wanted to do that. Hey! Ran her off the runway. Why would we do that? It's one of the downsides of freeware mods. Once you get them back on the ground, they do something weird like that. Well, folks, that concludes episode number 445 of the Flight Sim Historian, featuring the Fiat G.91Y.